Hello, everyone. Welcome into post-show headlines. I'm Andrew Salciunas with my man, John Kincade. We do this every single day after the show. We talked about PTI, pardon the interruption, at the end of the show today. That's kind of where I got this idea.
Yeah, you stole this idea.
2-minute topics.
It's great.
Hell yeah, I did.
We love it, PTI.
But it's our content. Thank you, PTI. By the way, did you notice I purposely wore the Saquon Barkley shirt today?
No, I didn't even realize
it was like,
that.
Even if the tush push did get banned yesterday, like
didn't even realize
the Eagles have this guy.
Yes.
So what would have mattered really other than the principle of it, which is why we will start
with the principal?
With
Monsignor Cribben.
Yes.
He was my last principal.
I'm going to start off with the tush push thing. I forgot to bring this up on the air, and that's why we do post-show headlines. It's almost like the stuff we didn't get to on the air.
Okay.
Like and subscribe, please. So Roger Goodell apparently spoke after the meetings
All right, what did he speak about?
But I didn't see audio of this anywhere.
Okay.
But this guy, Mike Jones, covers the NFL for The Athletic.
Okay.
So he was apparently in a room where Goodell was speaking to reporters. Remember, there was like the gaggle, but there was no cameras.
Right.
I can't believe he said this. Roger Goodell told reporters that contrary to reports, he was never for the tush push or against the tush push. He was just focused on holding a healthy discussion on the topic.
Okay, what a coward. Like there's nothing worse in leadership than when you take a stand on something and then you just won't take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
You took a stand. You took a very public stance.
He had publicly in 2023. There was video.
Yes.
Those things don't disappear.
He hated it.
He said he didn't like the play.
Right.
And now he's saying, oh, well, I never had a side on it. Yeah. I just wanted to have healthy discussion on it. And so then the Packers are now doing the same thing. Oh, we were never really against it. We were forced into doing this by the league.
I got this guy, Heller, Mr. Heller, in Green Bay doing sports talk.
Yeah.
Trying to convince me, you actually believe that Matt LaFleur wanted to do this? Yes. I believe Matt LaFleur literally wanted the tush push ban.
Yeah.
And no, I don't believe that Roger Goodell and two guys in dark suits came in and said, you have to be the public face of this. You are the one who's going to take all the public criticism. Yes, I believe Matt LaFleur wanted the tush push ban.
And my question for Mr. Heller, that if the next time you get a chance to talk to him.
I don't know that I'd be on.
If they ask for me, they go, you know what, let's have the good cop on next. No, I'll ask them, did you have that opinion before that report came out?
I don't see it. I scrolled social media looking for it. Didn't see it.
That report came out after the vote didn't go the way they wanted it to go. So now all of a sudden they're trying to backtrack.
Now they're trying to cover. They're trying to cover for Matt LaFleur.
I can't believe I didn't say this on the air. Roger Goodell is now saying he never had an opinion on it. That's nonsense.
That's incredible.
All right, you have a Phillies question.
Okay, Phillies question for you. Mm-hmm. As we head towards Memorial Day, we're going to actually talk about this on the show tomorrow more in depth. Why aren't we acknowledging what should be the glaring headline? Heading into Memorial Day weekend, the Phillies are exactly where they were last year.
It's amazing.
Heading into Memorial Day weekend, the best team in the National League.
Why are we ignoring it?
Like, nobody's really talking about that.
You know why? It's what we said before the season started. There is a large percentage. You like to say that not everybody on Twitter is telling the real story, which I agree with.
It's not, because 80% of people
that
are out there are not on Twitter.
But there is a large percentage, even if it's just 25, that's still a quarter. There's a large percentage of people that are like, all right, all of this is great, but you got to do it in the playoffs.
But we're not hearing that, though. You see, that's the
thing. We've been talking tush push for 2 months.
I got you, but even Phillies Twitter's not saying that. I'm not hearing a lot of that. I'm not even hearing a lot of, well, they're playing weak teams.
Well, so maybe we'll talk about this on the air tomorrow. We will. There might be people that are going to say, all right, that's great, but they beat the Rockies and the Pirates. But you know there's going to be a percentage of people that will do the wake me up when, which we had before the season started.
Right.
And why should they keep on saying it when they already said it? Or you're going to get it's the Athletics. Oh, it's the Pirates. Oh, it's the Rockies. You're going to get that. That Mets series, I'm telling you, that series where they get swept by the Mets puts such a bad taste in everybody's mouth that they won't believe it until maybe they see the Phillies beat the Mets in June, which happens, June 20th is the first game?
June 20th. We got another bad taste series coming up, though, next week. Phillies-Braves next week here in Philly.
After you lost that series.
You lost the series in Atlanta.
And gave them life.
Now, exactly. You let them up off the mat. Next week, you got to go take that series. Win 2 out of 3. Just push them down a little bit more. Can't let them have more life.
All right. This is a deep conversation about what we do.
Okay.
And I wonder if this is one of these topics that we'll bring up in June or July.
Right.
You would do the topic tree of when there's not as much going on. There's no tush-push debates.
Right.
Will media ever be, and I use the word normal, but I don't know what normal is.
Oh, it's not normal anymore.
Will media ever be normal again?
No.
Again.
No.
So I thought of this because I heard on our overnight, there's a commercial running that I think is really cool. You've actually checked it out. I still have not checked it out yet. There's 2 guys at ESPN that are doing the old school Sports Center on Disney+.
Oh, yeah. Gary Streisky, good buddy.
Uh-huh.
Real good buddy. Nice guy.
And they're just doing the highlights. Like
they're doing old school Sports Center.
It's
Randy Scott. It's Randy Scott and Gary Streisky.
It's not First Take where you're yelling at each other.
You would love them both. They're really good dudes. They're very funny, but they're doing an old school, snarky highlights.
Yeah.
It's just sports.
Booyah, right? Like that
15,
kind of stuff.
It's 15 minutes.
Right.
It's Disney Plus. It's quick. It's old school Sports Center.
So you know how life goes. A lot of times things come back. Like the record player. I have a record player in my house. The record player has come back in this style where you go to your local Target and there's Taylor Swift records for $50, which is freaking ridiculous.
Which is crazy.
Will we ever get... So Seth Wickersham.
Right.
We read some of his article today on the air. He had a great journalistic piece on what happened inside the tush-push debate. Like, it was great journalism with sources.
Sure.
There are still bits of journalism that are real still.
Yeah, there are.
There are times where you can talk about sports where it's not yelling and screaming at each other. That's why I love doing the show with you. We can disagree, but have a normal conversation where we're not trying to choke each other out.
Right, exactly.
Will it ever be that again? Because we see waves all the time where things do come back.
I do believe things are. I do believe that there's things that are sort of coming back more slightly to normalcy.
You mentioned 6 o'clock Sports Centers now. Sports
6 o'clock
again.
Sports Center, sports again. Kevin Gandhi
when it wasn't for some time.
When it wasn't, because people just want. Look, when I go to my favorite pizza place, I want pizza.
Right.
Now they have pasta too. I don't go there for pasta.
No, you're going there for the pizza.
I'll go to Limoncello if I want pasta. I'm going to my favorite pizza place because I want pizza. If I want, it's like it's what you go for. I don't go to a steakhouse and say, you know what, I think I'm going to have salmon. Like it's with people come to places and where they lose their way. Look, it's what I do believe journalism. It's just a matter of people having to come back for it.
It still exists. Like Jeff McClain is a journalist, right?
Jeff McClain's
and that's why a lot of
people don't like him.
A lot of you don't like Jeff McClain because he's not, ibleedgreen.com. He writes for the Inquirer and he covers the Eagles with an unbiased view.
I am a big supporter of alternative media. And when I did a national radio show, I know I was the first I believe I was absolutely the first national radio host that had a show with my name on it, where every week I had on a person that was considered alternative media, a blogger or somebody who had a really fun sports website.
Right.
And I would have them on during non-football season.
Okay, yeah.
I had a
different points of view.
I'd have them on and my listeners would send them in. I'd look at them and go, oh, I got to have this person on.
Yeah.
And I had them on during those 20 weeks where we didn't have football or whatever. And I'd have them on and do an interview with them and get them exposure for their website. I enjoyed that. So I support non-traditional media. But I think that media has become a blurred term where now
media is not journalism.
Like people think I cover the Flyers, but they're not in the locker room. I cover the Phillies, but they sit in their living room. You don't cover the Phillies. If you can't go into Rob Thompson's office, if you can't put a mic in Bryce Harper's face, you do not cover the Phillies. You do not cover them.
I wrote for Fansided.
Right. You wrote opinion pieces.
Probably back in 2016, 17. Okay. I did it for 2 seasons. I wrote for Fansided. I did not cover the Phillies.
You were not covering, but people today, and I see many of these local blog sites where people go, I cover the Phillies for it. No, you don't. You opinionate on the Phillies.
Right, and then you read what another reporter is saying.
You take video that you catch from somebody else, and then you comment on it. And that's perfectly...
That's fine.
But don't misrepresent.
Right.
You're not media. That doesn't make you media.
So will media ever be normal again?
No,
is this the way
it won't be, because I don't think that people.
And maybe this is normal for a lot of people. This is normal.
No, but that's called. You would call it. They try to call it new media,
right?
But that's not new media.
And look, I'm all about adapting. We do it.
I am.
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be called media because it's not media.
All right, we got 2 more. I told you that was a deeper question.
Yeah, that was a deep one.
Are you want to go golf first?
Yeah, I am. I got the alert this morning. I got 24 hours to buy passes for next year's PGA Championship due to my Chase Sapphire Reserve credit card.
Oh, I thought you were going to say chastity.
So I can buy them in advance and buy passes. It's $309 or $319 to go to one of the rounds.
Okay.
To go see next year's PGA Championship at Aronimink. Does that appeal to you price-wise or just going?
No, I would go if somebody offered me free tickets.
Right.
I would not.
$300 and some dollars to walk around a golf course.
No, I can pay $50 and play golf and walk around a golf course. Right, I could pay $60 or whatever, however much, because I don't go to the fancy golf courses, as you know.
Right.
No, that doesn't appease me. But I understand why somebody who is a big fan of golf that gets to see, because here's the deal: when you're playing baseball, or if you go to a Phillies game, you're sitting in the stands. When you go to a golf tournament, you're there. You're just behind the line, right?
Exactly.
And so like you could be
and
right
you may not have a great view.
Right, but you could see Rory up close, depending on what time you get there. Bryson DeChambeau, the other big golfers that people like, but that does not appease me at all. Where I'm dropping $3 bills. $3 bills. Yeah,
it gets you a sandwich, a drink, and a snack.
Yeah, I could go to Wawa, get a hoagie and a Gatorade, and then go play at one of my local Muni courses, as Mike calls it, and all of that would be for like $60 to $70, and I'd call it a day.
It's crazy.
All right.
What's the craziest thing you've seen in person as a sports fan? Because that's one of the things we had that highlight this morning. We talked about it on the show. That you've seen in person as a sports fan. Think about it, like the wild things that you've seen.
Well, it depends. Like I saw Michael Lorenzen's no-hitter in person. I would call that crazy.
So you've seen a no-hitter.
I saw a no-hitter.
I saw Terry Mulholland no-hitter.
Right. I saw Embiid's 70-point game.
Those are crazy. That's crazy stuff.
But do you mean crazy like that?
No, but that's crazy because those are things that. Okay, you've seen a 70-point game and you've seen a no-hitter.
That was in the same. That was in the same year, dude.
See, that's wild.
That's actually
like I saw the Mitchie Poo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Game that ended at 4:42 in the morning.
Yeah,
I saw that, and I was in the stands, and I was there from the first pitch of the first game of the doubleheader that started at 4:35 in the afternoon.
I was at Robert Person's 2-home-run game at Veterans Stadium.
Now you're stretching. That's not really. Nobody cares about that one.
What? I saw a pitcher hit 2 home runs.
Nobody cares about that one.
What? Because Shohei Ohtani does it now. Every pitcher can do it.
Nobody cares about that.
Robert Person, man. That was your opening day starter back in the early 2000s.
I saw Ron. I was working for the Flyers at the time, but I was there when Ron Hextall scored the first goal as a goalie.
Yeah,
and then have a great picture. Thanks to my friend Mike Menschner. Took a picture of Hexie afterwards, and I have a picture of Hexie in the locker room holding up his puck.
Yeah, that's
afterwards in the locker room, which is awesome. So I saw the goalie score the goal, his first one, which is pretty wild. Anything else you like crazy like that?
Not really. Like mine were more historic, like Lorenzen no-hitter and Embiid's 70-point game. Being at both of those in the same, I think it was the same year, right?
Pretty well. Yeah, I think it could be.
It was both 23, right? Yeah. Lorenzen's no-hitter.
That's cancer year, so my brain totally wiped.
But Lorenzen was on the 23 Phillies, and Embiid, because he didn't play last year, it was the 23 season. Yeah, it was the same year. That's when he played Wemby. That's the funny thing.
That's a Wemby game.
I went to go see Wemby.
And you saw.
And I saw Embiid drop 70. Amazing.
You never know. Hey, like, subscribe, and be a part of it. Tomorrow, all Memorial Day weekend, all Jersey Shore type questions for Andrew and I that you submitted.
That the listener sent in. Yes. Yeah, which is awesome. I love that. Everybody have a great rest of the day. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning. See you guys. Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas from Kincade and Salciunas. Thank you for checking out all of our stuff on YouTube. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on everything that you see. And of course, you can see everything from our YouTube feed. Full shows, interviews, When John's Being an Idiot, which is like 15 times a day. So make sure you check out all of our stuff on YouTube. We appreciate it.